Mm. Yes. Now, the next definition we will now take it up is evidence. Huh? So, evidence is the definition is not happily drafted, but we will go through what it is done. Then I will give the definitions of a leading jurist. Number one, let us see. Evidence means and include all statements which the court permits. All statements which the court permits. For example, there may be statements here now, statements in the nature of examination, chief, cross examination, re examination, all questions asked. Now, even the uh, submissions made by the lawyers and the client with regard to withdrawal of cases which are come on record, the recording by the judge is a statement which is a evidence. It may be or requires to be made before it by witnesses. So the witnesses make statement by way of a direct evidence under section 59 and 60. Then the witnesses make statements by way of primary evidence under section 61, 62. That is original document they produced before the court of law. Then the court draws inferences from the statement of the witness that we call uh, that is circumstantial evidence. Then the court draws presumption, may presume, shall presume from the statement and the conduct and demeanor of the witnesses. So they all witness. Then in relation to matter of fact and in the inquiry. So in relation to matters of fact. So whatever the subject matter of dispute before the court of law, mean from the issues which are before the court of law or the connected matters which are before the court of law, all these statements which are gathered are evidence before the court. Then the court either believes it to exist or consider the existence so probable. So the court has to be positive that from the evidence which has come on record, from the examination chief, cross examination, that the plaintiff has set up a case for declaration of title. Yes, I believe that such a right exists. Huh? The plaintiff has a reasonably acceptable case. Plaintiff has led cogent evidence to substantiate his case. So I believe the existence of such a right, title, interest in for the plaintiff. The court may say. Then or consider it existence so probable that a prudent man ought, under circumstances of the particular case, to act upon the supposition that exists. Now, here a prudent man, the example here, this is the case where there is no direct evidence available. So the court believes on the basis of presumption. That is why we have the legal jargons of proposition like court may presume, court shall presume, or conclusive proof. So a reasonable man with ordinary prudence believes that such a thing must have happened. For example, here you may take up the plea that here the, Mr. A was reported to have been dead and killed. His servant came out from the room holding a chopper in his hand. So the court may presume that here there was nobody else in the room save and except the deceased and the servant. So the court may presume that here, save and except the servant, nobody else must have committed the crime here. So here the court may draw the inference and hold him guilty in that respect here. That is the fact now. Now this much exists here. Particular fact to act upon the supposition that exists. So I'm sorry. Oh, what I'm reading, I'm so sorry. Evidence mean all statement the court permits to be put matter before inquiry. Number two, all documents including electronic record. Kindly see that here. Now under the Information Technology Act, all your WhatsApp messages, all your emails, they're all now evidence produced before the inspection of the court. Now this is by virtue of the amendment in the year 2000, after the Information Technology Act came. This is common record. Now from here the exactly evidence is not very clear, but it says what it includes. without defining what the evidence is. Now, I will give you some of the views of the jurists who have defined what is evidence. Now, the famous author, the jurist, that is a Blackstone, Sir William Blackstone, what he says, evidence is a word derived from Latin word evidere, Evidera, evidera, which means to discover clearly, to discover clearly, to ascertain or prove. That is what the Blackstone evidence, it signifies which demonstrates, makes clear, ascertain the truth of the fact, or points out the issue or the side of the other. So this is a little elaborate definition he has given here by Blackstone the matter. Then the author, eminent author, that is Taylor, John Pitt Taylor, who wrote the famous treatise on law of evidence as administered in England and Wales. He wrote here, according to him, he described the evidence as all means which tend to prove or disprove any matter, in fact, the truth of which is submitted to judicial investigation. So this is more or less in conformity with the provisions of our Indian Evidence Act. As I told you, the Sir James Fitzman Stephen has written or more or less bodily lifted the our Indian Evidence Act from Taylor's evidence, from the Taylor's evidence of the England year. Then we have Wigmore. You must have heard of Wigmore in your first year, second year. Wigmore, he was an eminent American author who wrote English, who wrote the Evidence Act. His name was John Henry Wigmore. He's an American lawyer and a jurist. He was known for his expertise on the law of evidence. And according to Wigmore, evidence means it represents any knowledgeable fact or a group of facts, not a legal or logical principle, considered with a view to being offered before a legal tribunal for the purpose of producing a persuasion, positive or negative, on the part of the tribunal as a truth of proposition, not of law, or of logic, which is of determination of the tribunal to be asked. So he is placing on record the entire material which is placed before the tribunal for consideration. Then lastly, Stephen, our James Fitzman Stephen, who has written the Indian Evidence Act, he said that it sometimes means the evidence mean it sometimes means words uttered and things exhibited by witnesses before a court of justice. That is things uttered, that is oral evidence, that is exhibited by witnesses, the documents which are brought on record and exhibited, how they are brought on record, I'll let you know that. On the other hand, it means facts proved to exist by those words or things and regarded as grand work of inferences as to other facts not so proved. Again, it sometimes used to mean to ascertain a particular fact that is relevant to the matter under inquiry. So these are the meaning of evidence given by eminent author. Then lastly, I will give the definition given by Pipson. Pipson is another jurist. He's another jurist. He's a British jurist who says that here, according to him, evidence means testimony, whether oral or documentary, or real, which may be legally received in order to prove or disprove some facts in dispute. According to best, the evidence is a matter of fact, the fact of tendency, design, which is to produce in mind a persuasion, affirmative, disaffirmative, existence of some other fact. Now, this definition you can see in the commentary, even if you go on the Google, It is there. If you see the Google or the best commentaries on Evidence Act of Batuklal or Munir and Woodruff and Amir Ali, उसके अंदर लिखा गया. Apart from all these authorities, the Google is your best friend. You open the Google and put it here, the definition of Google, you get it. I have been able to locate this from the Google, so I am able to bring before you. So in broadly, the expression evidence is before the court of law mean oral evidence, documentary evidence, all statements which the court permits here. So why we say a statement before the court? For example, during the proceedings, during the interlocutory stages, you know that under the Code of Civil Procedure, under the CRPC, court appoints commissioner for recording evidence. Court appoints court commissioner for inspecting the premises, elucidating. The court commissioner submit the report before the court of law. That is also evidence because there's statement. And a bailiff of the court officer is a summoning authority. He says that I went to serve the writ of summons upon the defendant or plaintiff and so place. The house was locked, so I could not serve him personally. I pasted the writ of summons on the outer door. So these are the statements of a bailiff of the court officer. They also become evidence when a decree is sought to be challenged on the ground that here the decree has been passed fraudulently. The plaintiff has filed a suit to obtain to snatch ex parte decree. I did not receive summons here. So at the time, the defendant, the plaintiff can examine the bailiff of the record. These statements made by the bailiff can be utilized. So they're all important here. So at the time when a property dispute is concerned, whether the building is in a dilapidated condition, a good condition, requires repairs or no repair, the court appoints a commissioner under the provisions of Order 26, Rule 9 to see the premises. Similarly, under the provisions of Section 144 CRPC, when the commotion take place, riots take place, prohibitory orders are issued, the magistrate appoints a commissioner, appointed to find out what is happening. Similarly, when there's a dispute with regard to land and water under Section 145 of the CRPC, the learned magistrate appoints a commissioner to bring before him the factual statement, either through the police officer or through some even a private person can be appointed to bring on record. So there are also whatever is recorded by them, those statements are also evidence within the meaning of the act. Okay, this is very what. So from this here, what you understand here, the examination chief, that means all statement made before it by witnesses. The witnesses make statement, for example, in the nature of examination chief under Order 37, under Section 137 Evidence Act, read with Order 18, Rule 4 CPC. Please note that here. Then the cross-examination, Section 138, Subclause 2. Then re-examination of the same witness, they are all statements brought before the court. Then the documents produced by the witnesses under the provisions of Section 62 and documents collected by the parties under the provisions of Order 11 or Order 13, Rule 13 of the Code of Civil Procedure, and also a procedure adopted by the CRPC from Section 272, 273 to 310, 23. Once a comprehensive procedure has been laid down with regard to how inquiry evidence is laid down in the criminal investigation. All these are relevant factors before the court of law. Now, before I give you opportunity to give me raise question, I would like to cite the judgment of the Supreme Court with regard to whether evidence can be recorded by video conferencing. This is prior to the amendment of CRPC, that is 2009. That is judgment of the Supreme Court was given in 1st of April 2003. That is State of Maharashtra versus Dr. Praful B. Desai. Dr. Praful Desai, who was guilty of criminal offences of negligence for conducting operation which resulted in the death of his patient. Hmm? Now, here is the matter. The complainant's wife suffered from terminal cancer. I will give the facts, brief terminal cancer. Now, the prosecution says that here, the wife of the complainant was examined by one Dr. Ernest from the Solon Kettering Memorial Hospital, New York, USA. That doctor, eminent doctor from the USA, opined that she was in inoperable condition and she should be treated only with medication. She should not undergo any operation because of her fragile health. Thereafter, the complainant and his wife came down to India. They consulted this Dr. Praful Desai of your famous Bombay hospital, who informed them I will do successfully your operation. Despite the fact that he was aware, Dr. Greensburg's opinion was to the effect that she cannot undergo operation. So he undertook the operation. He engaged one Dr. A.K. Mukherjee to perform the operation. Unfortunately, the patient developed serious medical complication, and after a few days she died. Then criminal prosecution was launched against the doctors under the provisions of the Indian Penal Code in the matter. Then he went to quash the proceeding before the High Court, and Supreme Court did not succeed. Okay. Then what happened? The Supreme Court expedited the trial of the matter. During the trial before the magistrate, the prosecution, the complainant wanted to examine Dr. Ernest Greenbergs of Kettering Memorial Hospital, New York, who said that I will not be able to come down to India. You may examine me on video conferencing. At that relevant time, in the year 2000, there was no provision for video conferencing in CRPC. Please note that here. The prosecution made an application to the learned magistrate, who allowed the application for examining him on video conferencing, which order was challenged before the Bombay High Court. They will not be effective cross-examination. Then the Bombay High Court accepted the version of the accused Dr. Praful Desai and disallowed the video conferencing. Then the matter traveled to the Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court, Justice Variava and Justice Agrawal, Justice Variava wrote a very beautiful judgment. He brought on record the paragraph, page number, expression evidence that you will 4 and 5 of the judgment, State of Maharashtra versus Dr. Praful Desai. Okay. Here, have you got it? Evidence mean and include all statements which the court permits are required to be made before the witnesses in relation to matters of fact inquiry. All statements called oral evidence, documentary evidence, such documents are evident. Next page. Thus, evidence can be both oral and documentary. An electronic record can be produced as evidence. This means that evidence, even in criminal matters, can also be by way of electronic record. This would include video conferencing. This is the judgment of the Supreme Court, which upheld the order of the magistrate and set aside the judgment and order of the Bombay High Court, which declined video conferencing. Now, in the wake of this judgment, of course, ultimately evidence was recorded in conformity with the order passed by the Supreme Court. Then our Parliament, in its wisdom, was pleased to amend the provisions of Section 275 CRPC. Please kholiye Section 275 CRPC. Yeah. Section 275 CRPC says, record in warrant cases. In all warrant cases tried before a magistrate, the evidence of each witness shall, as his examination proceed, to be taken in writing, either by magistrate himself or by dictation in the open court, or unable to give, owing to physical or other incapacity under the direction, superintendence by officer of the court appointed by him in this behalf. Provided the evidence of a witness under subsection may also be recorded by audio, video, electronic means in the presence of the advocate of the person accused of it. Okay, this amendment was brought on 31st December 2000 in the light of the judgment of the Supreme Court in the state of Maharashtra versus Praful Desai. So, the embargo which is contained in section 273, which says that evidence must be taken in the presence of the accused, it doesn't mean that it is open court. Of course, necessarily it has to be open court. The Supreme Court clearly said that videography, you can easily see the witness. You can easily see the demeanor of the witness. Whereas in a crowded courtroom, you will not be in a position to see his face. Videography evidence is much more clearer. So there should not be any hesitation in examining here. So those observations were passed, recording it here. Now for avoiding any loopholes, to avoid any ambiguity, our legislature has wisely amended the provisions of section 275, incorporating that audio videography can be done here. So this is what it here. Okay. Now that is the statement. Now you know that here. Now these are the evidences come here. Then there are one more judgment. Some judgment I will tell you what statements cannot be evidence before the court of law. When you see that here, so we came to know that what kind of statements are evidence before the court of law and what may not be. For example, a plain or written statement or affidavit is not evidence. First information report or a statement recorded under 161 CRPC are not evidence unless the maker of those documents are examined in the court of law. So a plaintiff who filed the suit for a declaration that he is entitled to ownership rights of the disputed property, he must come and depose merely because he made a verification clause in the plain that he has exhibited documents under the provisions of Order 7, Rule 14. That will not give him a decree. He must step into the box. He must, because after the filing of the plain, there is a written statement, then a list of documents are filed before the court, then the list of witnesses are furnished, both under the provisions of Order 13 and Order 16 before the court of law. Then you file your examination chief under Order 18, Rule 4. That examination chief affidavit is exceptionally an evidence under the law, provided the gentleman, the plaintiff or defendant, any witness who has taken oath and made statements, steps into the box and takes oath, yes, I am the plaintiff in the present matter. The statements made by me in this affidavit are correct. This is my signature. I know this. I know the content. The contents are correct. Then the court will formally take the document and record, and the examination chief is taken on record and exhibited. वो लेने के बाद, then what is the next stage? Not immediately cross-examination will go on. Then your next answer is you'll find section 135 of the Evidence Act. Check करें आप. I'm just finding out where is my copy of the Evidence Act. Yes. Please just see, immediately after the examination chief, what comes into play before the court of law is section 135. So here the court will decide who should, the order in which witnesses are produced, examined, shall be regulated by the law and practiced for the time being in the CPC and CRPC. So you have to bear in mind the provisions of Order 18 of the CPC and Order 18 and Order 16, and in CRPC section 273, 274 से लेके 320. That's the inquiry and trial. Then the moment your document is tendered, examination chief, the judge will decide as to the admissibility of the evidence. The defendant, as a defendant, you have a right to raise objection, because along with the examination chief, you are also tendering a list of documents. The moment you tender the list of documents, the learned judge, the trial parties, give your say on the document, whether you are admitting or disputing any of the document. Please note that alleged fact is proved, would be relevant, and the judge should admit the evidence if he thinks fit. The fact of the proved would be relevant and not otherwise. So the defendant may take up the plea. My lord, the issue before the court of law is whether the suit is, whether the plaintiff is entitled to declaration, whether he is entitled to a mandatory order of injunction or a perpetual order of injunction. But the evidence adduced is with regard to questioning my title. How can you do that? So you can point out to the learned judge, this evidence may be discarded. This evidence may not be taken on record. And the documents which he has produced are not relevant, germane to the issue. Then that is so. Then see, second paragraph. If the fact proposed to be proved is one of which evidence is admissible only upon the proof of some other fact, such last mentioned fact must be proved before the evidence is given of the fact mentioned, unless a party undertakes to give proof of such fact and the court satisfied with such undertaking. So the court will tell the party who led evidence, give me explanation. You have exhibited the power of attorney as Xerox copy. Where is the original? And in the paragraph, you do not say that the power of attorney holder is familiar with the facts of the case. Just saying that I am the power of attorney is not sufficient. I am fully aware of the facts of the case. I am conversant with the facts of the case. I am the duly constituted attorney. I know the subject matter of the suit. I am able to depose to the same. वो mention करना पड़ेगा आपको. Otherwise, your power of attorney will be rejected. Your power of attorney, you must say that here, I produce herewith the power of attorney. I am deposing as the agent of the plaintiff in the matter. Plaintiff is bedridden, unable to come, or out of India. He has become sick for a reason. He is unable to speak. I am the duly constituted attorney. I am aware of the facts. I produce here with the original power of attorney. This is signed by him. I see his signature. This is my photograph. This is attested by the notary public or before a magistrate. The contents are correct. Then only your matter will go up. Now let's see. The last paragraph. If the relevancy of the alleged fact depends upon the another fact being proved, the judge may in the discretion either permit the evidence of the first part to be taken before the second part is proved, require evidence to be given, so on the matter. So we'll take it up. So this is how the judge puts the question whether the document and evidence which is brought is admissible or not. Merely because you are a witness, you are produced before the court, your evidence is not acceptable. Your evidence must be in conformity with the Evidence Act and must be in conformity with the pleadings and the charges which are brought before the court. Otherwise, is going to be rejected. Okay? Please note that here. Yeah, this is the gamut of it. Then what evidence cannot be come before? One matter came up before the Supreme Court, which I'll give you authority. That is a state. That is a yes. Yes, that is a paragraph number 11. I'm just showing you. I'll just show you the relevant judgment where I have made my notes. Uh, yeah, sorry. The parties' name are the State Bank of India versus National Housing Bank. This is a judgment given on 31st July 2013. Here the issue was before the court. This was a trial before the special trial of offences relating to transaction in securities. You know the Harshad Mehta trial case. You know that famous case. Now, in this trial before the special court, the other side wanted to rely upon certain statements made by the parties before the inquiry commission. You know that there is an inquiry commission under the provisions of Commission of Inquiry Act of 1952. You know that we held a Sri Krishna commission with regard to Bombay riots. There was a Belgaum and Maharashtra commission, Mahajan commission. So they were fact-finding agencies, though they were retired judges of the Supreme Court, High Court. Whether the statements made by the witnesses before the commission of inquiry can be made admissible in subsequent proceeding in civil court or criminal court, the answer, the Supreme Court says no. This is paragraph number 52 of the judgment of State Bank of India versus National Housing Bank. This is the judgment given by Justice Chamaleshwar J. It says that here, it is well settled that by a long line of judicial authority. Got it here? It is well settled by a long list of judicial authority that the finding of even a statutory commission appointed under the Commission of Inquiry Act 52 are not enforceable proprio gris, as held in Ram Kishan Dalmia versus Justice Tendulkar's case, and the statements made before such commission are expressly made inadmissible in any subsequent proceeding, civil or criminal. The leading judicial pronouncement of the question were secondly analyzed in this court in 2001 6 SCC judgment inter alia holding. In our view, the civil court, criminal courts are not bound by the report of finding of the Commission of Inquiry, as they have to arrive at their own decision on evidence placed before them in accordance with law. Therefore, the courts are not bound by 53. Courts are not bound by the conclusions and findings rendered by the commission. The statements made before such commission cannot be used as evidence before any civil or criminal court. See how the Evidence Act is so tough. It is so strict. The gates are not open to you. Because the Commission of Inquiry is not a civil court or a criminal court. It's again a tribunal. It's a tribunal which is a fact-finding authority because it has only advisory powers. A Commission of Inquiry which has been held, it cannot be enforced. They cannot give, it cannot be implemented. The orders passed by the Commission of Inquiry officer is not a decree of the court, is not a command, is not an award. It is only a supervisory power, a directions given. It's a toothless body. Okay? So, as a result whereof, for example, you cannot say that here in the statement recorded by Justice Mahajan that certain areas belonging to Maharashtra are occupied by them and it should be brought it here. A suit is filed under Article 133 of the Constitution of India in the Supreme Court. So those statements are not binding. You have to independently record statement. Similarly, Justice Sri Krishna held a commission before in the Andhra Pradesh and district bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Statements were recorded by him of various parties, what should be done. Similarly, in Mumbai also, Justice Sri Krishna was appointed one-man commission to find out who were responsible for the riots in Mumbai. certain finding, he castigated certain police officer, certain politician, everybody. Certain people recorded. Those statements, at the best, they are surmises, they are advices, they are advisory in nature. They cannot be. Subsequently, if you file a suit for a declaration that my house was devastated in the riots, the government of Maharashtra should compensate me 1 crore, 2 crore, then you have to strictly prove. You cannot say that in the commission of inquiry before the Sri Krishna Commission, it is held that it is the police officer who demolished it. That evidence is not binding before the court of law. You have to independently prove separately. So this is not a parallel proceeding. Similarly, when a suit is filed by you for protection of your legal right in the civil court and a parallel proceeding in the criminal court, for example, in a Companies Act, you have a provision, 630 provision, an officer of the company withholding, not leaving his flat and the car after being dismissed from the company. The in a civil suit is filed with the landlord for eviction of the director and the company in the court of Small Causes Court in Bombay. At the same time, criminal prosecution is lodged under Section 630 of the Companies Act for taking action against him. So the admissions made by the people in the criminal proceedings are not binding in the civil proceeding unless they are pari materia, unless they come within the ambit of Section 33. Whatever finding recorded by the magistrate is not binding upon a civil judge. But certain findings recorded by a civil judge may be relevant under Section 33, which I will come later on. So here, in a nutshell, the finding recorded by the commission of inquiry or witnesses what they depose is not binding. Please note that here. Okay. Then
Sir, there is
yes,
a question.
Puchi.
Uh, is police report filed voluntarily apart from the charge sheet in a criminal case is admissible as an evidence?
Police report filed voluntarily by the police officer, that is under Section 173 CRPC. You want to say that? The
Yeah.
charge sheet. It is
Not
not,
charge sheet, apart from charge sheet.
apart from charge sheet, it is not acceptable at all. It is not evidence. Now, one of the cases which I am going to cite is here, a factual statement which find place in FIR, first information report, without examining the informer is not evidence. That you take down, see the judgment of, I had sent you in the morning, Ramdas versus State of Maharashtra. That is a judgment dated 7th of November 2006, given by the Honorable Supreme Court. In Supreme Court, judgment has been rendered by Justice B.P. Singh and Chatterjee, Justice Arun Chatterjee.
Hello.
Yeah, this is a rape case. This is under Section 376, read with Section 34 IPC, along with Section 325 of the Scheduled Caste Scheduled Tribe Act. Now, please read paragraph number, page number 3 पे आ जाइए यहाँ पे 1, 2, 3. There are certain lines which I would like to read it here. It says that here the report was neither produced nor exhibited at the trial. You got it here? Page number 3 के ऊपर the starting 2-3 lines. Report means the first information report. The report was neither produced or exhibited at the trial. The factual statement which finds place. You got it? Page number 3 के ऊपर देखिए. This is paragraphs are not mentioned here in India Kanun mein. The statement is beginning. The factual statement which find place in the first information report but not deposed by the informant or any other witnesses cannot be treated as evidence in the case. That means the first information report under Section 154 or the statement recorded by a police officer under Section 161 CRPC, they are not evidence. They should be corroborated. They can only become evidence when the maker of the FIR goes the steps into the box and says, yes, I have seen the incident. I have seen the incident, A committing the crime against B, A killing B. I was the eyewitness. I am the person who lodged the first information report. This is my signature. The facts are correct. then the first information report can be taken on record, marked in evidence as exhibit. Similarly, the statement recorded by a police officer, a person panchanamas, panchas, other respectable person under 161. You know that here 161 statements cannot be signed by the parties. 164, 161 statements are not evidence unless the maker dies under 130, under section 32. So the person, the maker of the statement must be examined in the court of law. Similarly, the executive magistrate conducting identification parade under the Identification Parade Act or under section 9 of the Indian Evidence Act. आप बोलेंगे commotion and riots took place in Mumbai. 15 people, football match was going on. 5-6 people hammered everybody. This man XYZ I have seen. The commuter will come and explain. So nobody knows the identity of the accused person. But the accused says that yes, I know the accused was wearing a white shirt or a black shirt, black trouser. He was a wheat complexion, dark complexion, or a fair man. Then what they do? They will hold the identification parade. उसी टाइप का आदमी 10-12 लाख को खड़ा कर देंगे पुलिस स्टेशन में or some other place. The police officer has to invite an executive magistrate or a magistrate to stand in to identify the parade. So in the parade, it is merely because the magistrate recorded in my presence, the accused, the complainant has identified, the witness has identified the accused is not sufficient. That evidence must be corroborated, that he should be examined in the court of law. Otherwise, it is not evidence. So the right now you say that here, the police officer has no right to file a statement after charge sheet is filed. When the charge sheet is filed, the next procedure is the investigation officer has to take the permission for conducting further investigation, which will be under section 173 subclause 8 CRPC. आप खोलिए, there are two provisions in the CRPC which permits further investigation. That I will tell you. There are 2-3 provisions. Number 1, kindly see. Section 1. पहले आ जाइए आप, where the additional statements can be recorded by the police officer. Yes.
So
Section
nothing in
1.
this section shall be deemed to be preclude further investigation in respect of an offence after a report under subsection 2 has been forwarded to the magistrate, and whereupon such investigation the officer in charge of the police station obtain further evidence, oral or documentary.
Yes, that provision you will find section 173 subclause 3 के अंदर.
Subsection, yes.
Subsection, the further investigation.
Yes.
Then second provision is 173 subclause 8. Nothing in this section shall be deemed to preclude further investigation. Okay, these two are to be complied with. If this is complied with, the permission is given here, then further investigation go on. Then after recording the statement, the police officer files his report and he must examine those person whom he has examined them. That otherwise it will not become. Merely because the police officer, the police officer must go in the box. He must say that I received information under 154 CRPC and I recorded his statement under a police diary under section 122 CRPC. I transmitted the first information to the learned magistrate. I swung into action. I began my investigation immediately thereafter from 156 onwards. When you see the provisions of section 156 onwards, the investigation begins. The police officer 157 onwards, 157, 158, 161 recording of the evidence, recording again a statement 164 by the magistrate and the police officer together they recorded. 165 के अंदर then under search is conducted by the police officer under section 165. These are very wide executive powers are given. Then letter of request is given under 166A. Then to examine further witnesses outside the jurisdiction. When investigation cannot be completed, 167 he has to bring before the magistrate. So that you all learned it here. Further investigation is possible, but you need to take the permission of the court and those witnesses must be examined. Otherwise, the evidentiary value is zero. Okay? Understood this? That is the meaning here. Anybody
Yes,
has
sir.
any?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Boliye. Before I proceed to the next topic, that is proved, disproved, and not proved. Any question? Any, please? Hello? You all can hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah. Yes. Shall I proceed now? Next. The next definition is proved. देखिए आप, proved, disproved, not proved. So the Evidence Act now envisages here is a duty of the court to see to that the parties, the plaintiff or defendant has proved the case or not proved the case or disproved the case. Now let us see. First proved is a fact is said to be proved when after considering the matters before it. Now kindly see that this section does not say after considering the evidence before it. It says considering the matters before it. The expression matter is much more wider than evidence, because the evidence का definition बहुत narrow है. Only it says the statement recorded by the magistrate of the parties, documents which are tendered before the court of law and which is inscribed what limited at the plan definition. Whereas matters are concerned very wide. So what can be the matter before the court? Namely, for example, the commissioner's report, the bailiff ka report. Then these are all matters before the court. Yeah. A fact is said to be proved when after considering matters before it, the court either believes it to exist or consider the existence so probable that a prudent man ought under the circumstances of a particular case to act upon the supposition that exists. So यहाँ पे the judge is not only relying upon the examination, chief cross-examination, statement of the person and the document tendered, the primary evidence, secondary evidence, the Xerox copies, and also other connected matters. And at the same time, the court can draw inferences, namely whether there is no direct evidence in this matter. Witnesses are not confirmed before the court. So can I go on the proposition that draw inferences? Now inferences can be drawn by the court, save and except the accused person, nobody else was there along with the dead man. So he alone must have committed it, provided there is a positive evidence. There is a positive circumstances. Circumstantial, each chain must link together. There are 5, 6. When I am giving you certain judgments on the circumstance, I will cover it here. Now, in civil cases, the court may pass a judgment not only on the basis of the evidence, direct or indirect, but also on the preponderance of possibilities. The court may draw inference that, yes, in the case of a termination notice under section 106 of the Transfer of Property Act, whether the plaintiff proved that here he has given notice of termination before the filing of the suit, the defendant बोलेगा मुझे notice ही नहीं मिली. The plaintiff will bring before the court that I have sent this notice by registered post from the GPO police station, the GPO post office or Churchgate में some place where I have got the registered AG acknowledgement. So the court may presume, a court shall presume that the letter has been duly transmitted and ought to have been received by the defendant. So the court can draw a presumption that it has been received. It's a rebuttable presumption unless the defendant takes up the plea that I have not received it and leads evidence before the court in evident rebuttal that I was not in India at the time. I was in Dubai, I was in USA, London. How the letter could have been written? It is showing somebody has taken on your behalf. My house was lying locked. So these are the questions which may come up before the court of law. So the court will take into consideration what kind of evidence. In order to prove the fact here, the court will consider not only the evidence as explained, all matters before the court. Mean the finding record of the postman, the bailiff of the court, who went to serve the writ of summons, whether the plaintiff, whether the writ house was open or not, upon whom he has delivered it. These are the matters before the court. Then a court commissioner who was appointed has given a finding and record. घर के अंदर इतने लोग थे, XYZ. I recorded so and so evidence. That's a matter before the court. The evidence can be proved here. I will come. That on the basis of this material. Then the second limb of proof is when evidence is not sufficiently adduced and there is no sufficient matters before the court may record a finding it has been disproved. Let us see. A fact is said to be disproved when after considering the matters before it, again it says not evidence before it, matters before it, which is a very wide expression. The court either believes that it does not exist or consider its non-existence so probable that the prudent man ought, under the circumstances of a particular case, act upon the supposition it did not exist. So the court will record a finding when the defendant is out of station. By no stretch of imagination it can be said that he has received the notice. How a man who was in America for 2 years would have received your termination notice when he was not there? So the plaintiff has not proved the termination notice. Service is not duly proved. Notice is illegal. When before filing a suit against the government, it is mandatory for the plaintiff to give a notice under section 80 CPC. Isn't it 2 months notice unless you dispense under subsection 2? So you have to prove it. If the service is not proved that you delivered it at the same time, the court will record a finding. So the court will record a finding when the person is out of station, not available, when the house is long. It is highly improbable. That such notice was given. So the plaintiff has been unable to prove his case and it is totally disproved. So the evidence which is produced by the plaintiff is not reliable. I am not convinced with the evidence. It is stand disproved. So proved, disproved. Then last is not proved. A fact is said not to be proved when it is neither proved nor disproved. So the parties have not led evidence. Plaintiff in a suit for declaration or for possession or for conjugal right perform a mandatory injunction. After filing of the suit, you must go in the box. He must lead evidence. If he doesn't lead evidence, the case is not proved. But in case the plaintiff has led evidence, it was the turn of the defendant to lead evidence. Defendant has not proved it. Defendant took up the plea that this court has no jurisdiction, number one, that the suit is barred by res judicata, that there was a previously instituted suit, but the defendant doesn't come forward. He doesn't lead evidence. In order to prove res judicata before the court of law, what you need to prove? The plaintiff in the previous suit. To inform the court, to place on record that the issues which are sought to be raised in the present suit were substantially same in the previous suit. I am producing herewith for your lordship consideration the suit which was filed by the plaintiff, the plain containing similar statement, similar paragraph, ditto. And judgment, both the parties had went for a trial. The learned judge, the previous judgment has been recorded in favor of a father at the time when the suit was filed against defendant's father. The suit dismissed. So you must go in the box and lead this evidence, not just mere statement. If none of the parties step into the box, if a suit is filed with the plaintiff that my wife or husband is in adultery. Huh? And you must join the adulterer as a party for seeking a divorce. You are not joined the party and you are not stepping into the box. You cannot make oral submission, you pass a decree. It is not so. It is only in the case of a summary suit under Order 37, you need to just produce document, need not go into the box. But in normal civil trial and criminal prosecution under the CRPC, it is mandatory for the plaintiff in the civil suit and defendant also in the civil suit to prove and disprove. They must step into the box. They must examine necessary witnesses. In a criminal prosecution, you learn that in a trial before a court of session, in a trial before a magistrate in a warrant case, in a case otherwise than a warrant case, in a summons case or a summary trial, you must go in the box and lead the evidence as per the provisions of the CRPC, section 272 se lekar 320. And if you do not lead evidence, that means the defenses which you have taken out are not proved. You may take up the plea that year. The prosecution files a case under 302 against you. You have committed the offense of murder by killing him. You take up the plea, I was suffering from insanity, which is the plea under section 84 valid. So the burden of proof under 101 of the Evidence Act is upon you. You don't step into the box. If you don't step into the box, so the plea is not proved. The court will record a finding. The defendant has taken up a plea that he was not there. Or the defendant has taken up a plea in the written statement that the suit is barred by res judicata. But he has not produced before the court any document. He has not stepped into the box to give evidence. So there is nothing to hold in his favor. So I accept this statement of the plaintiff who has deposed. So under the provisions of Order 8, Rule 10, ex parte decree can be passed. Okay? That is the meaning of proved, disproved. So while considering this doctrine, proved, disproved, not proved, the court takes into consideration not only the evidence before the court, but also takes into consideration all matters. So the examination chief, cross-examination, the interrogatories before the court, the affidavits also, which have been corroborated and cross-examined. Please note that. Affidavit becomes evidence only when the deponent has been given the opportunity to be cross-examined. If he is not cross-examined, affidavit is to be discarded. Evidence under Order 19, Rule 1 and 2 पढ़े आप इसके अंदर clearly लिखा गया है affidavits, and also Order 39, Rule 1 and 2 for proving your case for interlocutory injunction, prove it by affidavit. But when you lead evidence, that is only for temporary injunction under Order 39, Rule 1 and 2. But when you want a perpetual order of injunction under 38 and 39 of the specifically fact and a mandatory injunction, you must go into the box and depose the statement. Then the court will consider the matters before it. Not only your plain and written statement and your evidence, interrogatories, and a list of documents tendered, affidavit of documents tendered under the provisions of Order 11, Rule 13 CPC. And the documents and the plea with regard to under the provisions of Registration Act, Section 17, 18, 49 will be considered. The effect of registration, non-registration. The court will not just see this here. All matters will be seen. During the pendency of a suit, the court has appointed a court commissioner. The finding of the court commissioner can be challenged. You must file your opposition if you are not happy with it. If you don't follow the opposition note, the report of the commissioner, the court will take into consideration. He may be an officer of the court. He may be an outsider. Those statements are relevant. Isn't it? That is what. Anybody has any question? What is the time now? Please see that. Time कितना हो गया अभी?
Sir, 7, almost 8 o'clock, sir.
8 o'clock. We can stop today here. Tomorrow we will take up.
Yes, sir. So one question, sir. Do you think it's because of the Indian Evidence Act that the conviction rate is so low in India? Is
Yes,
that because
exactly because of adversarial system of justice. adversarial system of justice is responsible because the judge is not an investigation officer. He has to proceed on the footing that the accused is innocent till he is proved guilty by the court of law. Our investigation officers are not trained people. They are not conducting proper investigation. Okay, and the magistrate doesn't have power to investigate. He has only power to hold inquiry. Whereas in the other system, that is a inquisitorial system, the judge himself is the public prosecutor. He himself is the investigator. The entire supervision is on him. In the French system, check kariye aap dekh liye. Now, when you see open the Denmark and Denmark has is given the highest point in the system of administration of justice. And another country that, which country it is? South African country is the second country, Denmark के बाद another country I will tell you, Ghana. आप नेट पे जाइए मालूम करिए, Ghana and Denmark are the second countries where the judicial system is number one in the world. So India must follow their examples. We should not only cling to the British era where the Anglo-Saxon judicial system is lingering. Now you know that we used to have the earlier, what you call it, in the year 1960 till 1960, the jury system was abolished because jury people are mostly laymen. These laymen system, they will give their own finding. When Mr. Namavati and Nanavati has committed the offense of murder, killing his wife's paramour, and the juries took sympathy for him. I said, no, he did a great job. He's a martyr. And India may, it's an honor killing. He did the right thing. And he was acquitted by juries. There was a clinching evidence against him because it was a pre-planned conspiracy. Of course, the incident, what happened was unfortunate, and that Mr. Ahuja declined to marry and take care of his children. And he got violent and they brought his revolver from Kandala revolver after 6-7 days. He comes and shoots him. And the juries were all in favor of Mr. Nanavati. You know that, reading that here. Not only jury, and even the High Court was sympathetic towards him. It was only ultimately the Supreme Court which convicted him. वो convict करने के बाद भी jury system, सारी public was in his favor. Ali, please, उनको माफ करो. So the matter was put up representation to governor and the president. So the Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, who was then the governor of Bombay, she immediately told him, maaf kar do usko. Pardoned him. That is what it is. So that is how the judicial system lingering. They examine several witnesses and all. So according to me,
but that case killed the jury system itself, sir.
Abolished. That is 1960 के अंदर बाद में खत्म हो गया. So honor killing is accepted in India. If suppose India may we encourage, you have a right to marry intercaste marriages, but your family doesn't like it. Your own brother and sister will come and kill you, isn't it? Or trial lingers, they bribe officers, everybody. Evidence is not taken record. Even the police officers will cite them, and the matter will never go on. And ultimately, it results in the acquittal of the accused person. Because the public mind setup is like that. Unless we change our mind. So we are not totally accepted the philosophy of our constitution. The philosophy behind the adversarial system is being misused. Anglo-Saxon system is misused. So the investigation officers must be trained people. So what is happening, you see in the newspaper every day. The police officers are not conducting trial. And even there are a lot of allegations against judiciary, very slow and not taking up the matter. Of course, India is very highly populated. You can see that here. Judges are overburdened. You cannot even blame the judges. Even the police officers are working around the clock. How can you blame them, everybody? Population is a problem. Poverty is a problem. These are the social problems.
In UP, they created this Romeo squad and all. Is that legal, sir, or why is it not challenged?
Totally illegal. Unfortunately, it's not happening. What you see, you can file a public interest litigation. If you file it up, the judges, what is happening is unfortunate. It is very difficult to comment upon the political system and let us only confine to law. Of course, the law has to be reformed. The Malamat Committee is reformed. You can say that. The Malamat Committee has recommended in India, apart from the adversarial system, we must go for the inquisitorial system. If they adopt it, fine, the matter. In Saudi Arabia, they have the system inquisitorial. Islamic law, they proceed on that footing. The cases are disposed of. In France also, Germany also, the cases are disposed of. According to me, we must follow the system which is followed in Ghana and Denmark. You see that in the net, all of you go and see the judicial system, they have been awarded the highest. In the American system, because the population is less there, and they follow our own system, adversarial system, they still have a jury system, but their public is very enlightened and they give correct opinion. Our public, ईंट का जवाब पत्थर से दो. No, revenge, we are full of revenge. We cannot take revenge. We have to go by the rule of law. We have to see what our constitution says, what our law says that. वो करेंगे तो शायद भी ऊपर हो जाएगा. Maybe things are happening well. It will take some time. Maybe we'll do well. Okay, no problem. Let us have hopes. Let us be optimistic. Our
Yes, sir.
system also will improve. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So anybody has any question before we wind up? Okay. Now we'll see you Monday then.
Yes, sir. Thank you very
Okay.
much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
My pleasure. All of you enjoy.